Cadillac, one of America's oldest automakers, has long been the epitome of American luxury, and its V8 engines have been at the heart of the brand's cars for nearly its entire existence. They once called themselves the standard of the world, but is there any truth to this marketing slogan the brand used throughout its early years? We're going to answer this question by focusing on the engines that powered decades of Cadillac's flagship models. While Cadillac wasn't the first automaker to fit a V8 engine into an automobile, they were the first to offer a V8 engine in a mass-produced automobile. In the fall of 1914, nearly 2 decades before Ford would offer their first mass-produced V8, Cadillac introduced their first flagship engine, a 5.1-liter, 70-horsepower V8 known as the L-Head, which sold more than 13,000 units in its first year. During the First World War, the United States government purchased 2,000 Cadillacs equipped with their V8 engines and sent them to France for use by the Army. After the war, Cadillac continued to develop their V8 powertrain, and by the late 1920s, they were producing more than 45,000 V8-powered vehicles a year. This progress continued for decades with several variations of the L-Head. In 1949, a completely new design debuted, the 331 V8, and a few short years later, one of Cadillac's most beloved models, the Eldorado. Known for its length and presence, the first-generation 1953 Eldorado stretched a whopping 220 inches and weighed in at around 5,000 pounds, quite substantial for its time. Quickly becoming Cadillac's top-tier model, the Eldorado was a striking blend of luxury and power, and it pioneered a number of new features that would later become industry standards. The signature rear fins, with their vertical tail lamps, became one of Cadillac's most iconic design elements. The Eldorado's first engine, a 331 cubic inch 5.4-liter V8, was paired with a single 4-barrel carburetor and produced 160 horsepower. The engine boasted a bore of 3.625 inches and a stroke of 3¼ inches, and was paired to the advanced Hydromatic automatic transmission, one of the first fully automatic transmissions in production. This engine set the tone for the future of Eldorado V8s, which would continually evolve in both power and sophistication. In 1954, Cadillac introduced the 365 cubic inch 6-liter V8, which produced 230 horsepower. The engine featured an updated bore of 3.875 inches and a stroke of 3.625 inches, with a twin 4-barrel carburetor system. Cadillac also began integrating more advanced technology into their engines, such as higher compression ratios and improved intake systems. The Eldorado continued to impress with innovations like automatic windows, power seats, and air conditioning, features that were groundbreaking at the time and set a new bar for luxury. By 1959, the Eldorado's V8 displacement had increased again to 390 cubic inches, or 6.4 liters. Some refer to this period as the absolute peak of the Cadillac's flamboyant design style. The Eldorado was just shy of 19 feet in length and featured humongous sharp tail fins, dual bullet taillights, jeweled grille inserts, and full-length body sill highlights. These cars were truly beautiful. Standard features included power brakes, power steering, fog lamps, an automatic headlamp dimmer, and if you sprung for the 4-door Brougham, you received cruise control as standard. Now, I will mention that while the 1958 Chrysler Imperial was technically the first car with cruise control, or speedostat as they called it, Cadillac copied the invention in 1959 and renamed it cruise control, what it's still called today. Thank goodness speedostat didn't stick. A 429 cubic inch 7-liter V8 was introduced in 1964, increasing the Eldorado's output to 340 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. The new engine had a bore of 4.125 inches and a stroke of 3.6 inches, and was mated to Cadillac's Turbo Hydromatic 400 transmission. 1967 was a critical year for the Eldorado. The car was redesigned as a front-wheel drive hardtop coupe, being promoted as a personal Cadillac to satisfy the newly budding personal luxury car market. Shortly after the transition to front-wheel drive, a newly designed 472 cubic inch 7.7-liter V8 was introduced in 1968. This engine produced a respected SAE gross 375 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque. However, fuel consumption was a thirsty 10 miles per gallon city and 13 highway. By the time of the 1970 model year, The Eldorado's V8 grew to what would be its largest iteration, 500 cubic inches, or 8.2 liters. This marked a defining moment in Cadillac's history. With 400 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque, the 500 V8 had an enormous presence in a car that weighed nearly 5,000 pounds and measured over 18 feet long. This was one of the largest naturally aspirated engines ever produced for a passenger car. The 500 V8 also introduced hydraulic valve lifters to reduce engine noise, contributing to the Eldorado's reputation for smooth, refined performance. During this time period, the Eldorado further cemented itself as the epitome of luxury, equipped with leather upholstery, climate control, and premium sound systems. The massive 500 cubic inch V8 engine, paired with the front-wheel drive layout, provided both impressive performance and exceptional comfort, making the Eldorado one of the most desirable luxury cars of the era. However, beginning in 1977, engine displacement and power ratings declined and began to dwindle. In the early 80s, standard power output was a modest 125 horsepower, and as for styling, well, let's just say the Eldorado was a shadow of its former self. The Eldorado's final major engine innovation came in 1992, with the introduction of the 4.6-liter Northstar V8. This all-aluminum, dual-overhead cam design produced 295 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque, offering significantly improved efficiency and performance over the woeful powertrains of the 80s. The Northstar engine's high-revving capabilities and sophisticated fuel management system represented a major leap forward in engine technology, positioning Cadillac for the future. This era marked Cadillac's shift towards more modern, technologically advanced engines, and was emblematic of the changes that would come in the following decades. As the Eldorado made its exit, Cadillac began focusing on performance sedans with the introduction of its successor, the CTS. The first-generation CTS, introduced in 2003, became a key player in the brand's evolution. Cadillac recognized that in order to regain its status as the leader in American luxury, it would need to push the boundaries of performance while maintaining its heritage of both luxury and innovation. It could not sit idly by as luxury brands from across the pond, such as BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, began offering more powerful, souped-up versions of their high-end models. The CTS was powered by a range of engines, but the most notable for performance junkies was the 5.7-liter LS6 V8, which was introduced in the 2004 CTS-V. The LS6 was based on the same engine used in the Chevrolet Corvette, producing 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured a bore of 3.9 inches and a stroke of 3.62 inches, with a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio. It utilized a single throttle body for airflow control and was mated to either a 6-speed manual or automatic transmission, depending on the buyer's preference. This engine allowed the CTS-V to accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, solidifying Cadillac's shift to a performance-oriented luxury brand. In 2009, the second-gen CTS-V arrived with significant upgrades. Cadillac introduced the supercharged 6.2-liter V8 based on the Corvette ZR1's LS9 engine. This engine had a bore of over 4 inches and a stroke of 3.62 inches, with a compression ratio of 9.1 to 1. It produced an impressive 556 horsepower and 551 pound-feet of torque. The supercharged V8 used an intercooled Eaton supercharger to provide extra boost. The CTS-V was also equipped with Cadillac's advanced magnetic ride control suspension, meaning it still felt like a luxury car while on the road. Large Brembo brakes further enhanced its handling capabilities. All of this meant that track days were no longer relegated to Corvettes only. Inside, the car featured high-tech amenities, like a premium sound system, leather seating, and a touchscreen interface, making it a modern, fully equipped luxury sedan. In 2016, Cadillac debuted the third-gen CTS-V, again using the same supercharged 6.2-liter V8. However, this version produced a staggering 640 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque, a significant increase over the previous generation. The engine featured improvements in intercooling, fuel injection, and an advanced valve timing system, which enabled it to perform at a higher level of efficiency and reliability. The engine was paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and the car was capable of achieving 0 to 60 in just 3.7 seconds, and the top speed eclipsed over 200 miles per hour. With advanced features like adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, and a high-definition display, The third-gen CTS-V continued to refine the luxury-to-performance balance that Cadillac was now known for. The CT5, Cadillac's replacement for the CTS, was introduced in 2020 and continued Cadillac's legacy of blending performance with luxury. The CT5-V Blackwing, the top model in the CT5 lineup, carries forward the supercharged 6.2-liter V8 from the CTS-V, but with significant enhancements. The 6.2-liter in the Blackwing is rated at 668 horsepower and just shy of 660 pound-feet of torque. It has a bore of just over 4 inches with a stroke of 3.62 inches. The engine continues to feature the intercooled Eaton supercharger. It also features upgraded injectors, a more efficient fuel system, and a stronger crankshaft to handle the increased power output. The engine is paired with either a 6-speed manual transmission, a nod to driving enthusiasts, or an 8-speed automatic transmission. The Blackwing is a serious performance machine, with features like magnetic ride control, a limited slip rear diff, and Brembo carbon ceramic brakes. Power is put to the ground efficiently and precisely. In terms of luxury, the CT5-V is equipped with cutting-edge technology, including a massive 33-inch diagonal advanced LED gauge cluster, a premium audio system, and a suite of advanced driver assistance features. Just as it was the first vehicle brand to feature cruise control, Cadillac was the first GM division to pioneer Super Cruise, a true hands-free driver assistance technology. The CT5-V carries forward Cadillac's commitment to precision engineering, offering both high-speed performance and comfort, with a refined interior that has high-end materials. It is the epitome of Cadillac's engineering and luxury heritage, combining raw power with the brand's signature refinement. From the 331 V8 in the Eldorado to the 6.2-liter supercharged V8 in the Blackwing, Cadillac's V8 engines have evolved over decades to meet the brand's standards for performance and luxury. Each generation, the Eldorado, CTS, and CT5, brought improvements in engine design, efficiency, and power output, while maintaining Cadillac's focus on smooth, effortless luxury. As Cadillac continues to innovate, its legendary V8 engines remain at the core of its commitment to blending power with personal luxury. If you like this video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more automotive content like this. Thanks for watching.